I know, didn't seem like we were going to get through January, but we have. We have arrived at February. And all of a sudden, we start off the month with Canadians are mad at Americans, and Americans are mad at Canadians, and everybody's all upset, and they don't know what's going on, and government's getting cut left and right. Fantastic. In the end, this is my message to you, and it's a message of hope. It's all going to be okay. Like these growing pains we always talk about with the U.S., right? We're ripping the Band-Aid, all this corruption and everything that's been going on for decades because we're so used to being screwed over. Really, and I truly mean that. Screwed over by the government, by societies, by industries, and it's all changing right now. But right now, we're all freaking out. You get a lot of Americans upset that Canadians are booing the national anthem, and Canadians are all upset at us, and people are upset at the Grammys, and everybody's all mad about everything. It's all going to be awesome. Because let me tell you something. And we're going to talk about this whole DOGE thing, right? And the U.S. aid corruption and all this other stuff and what it all means. And there are economists right now, you know, the people who do this for a living, who are cutting and recording their podcasts right now. We're going to tell you what all this stuff means from an economist's perspective, because that's what they do, and that's great. And then there are politicians or ex-politicians who are cutting their podcasts right now, and they're talking about it live and doing interviews. They're going to tell you what the politics mean, and that's fantastic. Great. I know people, and I'm going to tell you how people react. And then in the end, when people get pissed off enough and they realize that change is needed, good things happen. And that's exactly where we are right now. So it's all going to be good. It'll all make sense, I promise, but welcome to it. I hope you had an awesome weekend. Getting closer and closer to the Super Bowl next weekend, too. We'll talk about that a little bit as the week goes on. But more importantly, thanks for finding Wicked Radio. I appreciate you, as always. Audio podcasts, wherever you like to get those. That's growing and growing. Thank you. That's wherever you get those, where you like to download those and share and subscribe and all that stuff. And then there's a replay right here, so thanks for the follows, all of it. But right now, we're going to kick this one off. Talking about, ready? You ready for this? The Grammys. Yeah. Because when you are looking for cutting-edge entertainment news, you don't go anywhere else but to me, right? Right. Boy, that couldn't be further from the truth. But there's a takeaway from this Grammys thing, which I did not watch. Not one iota, not one live second from it. But, of course, the replays and the reaction. And I think this was the turning point. This is finally where the Grammys and all these entertainment shows, it's a little indication of where they're going with this. After everything that's changed, after how people feel now, after, not just the election, I mean, just things in general, like people got a hold of information now, people are pushing back. The entertainment shows are going to get more relevant, more mainstream, connecting with the American people, right, with society. No. Somehow, some way, the Grammys got more out of touch, more irrelevant, and really just more clueless. Somehow, some way that actually happened. And I guess the final result will be, it takes a couple of days. It'll be like later today, and then tomorrow they'll get the official word, what the ratings were on this thing. See how many people were watching or cared. But if you thought the Grammys were going to start to make sense anytime soon, the music industry, they're pretty much gone forever. Because there's what people want, and then there's that industry for themselves, what they want to push on you, right? Perfect example. You probably heard about the Beyonce thing. Beyonce won the country Grammy for her album, Beyonce, who found out about country like 2 weeks before she cut this album. But here's the announcement of how she won last night. I'm talking about this for a reason. It'll make sense.
And the Grammy goes to Cowboy Carter, Beyonce.
Now, if you saw this or you saw the clips, which are everywhere this morning, it's mostly on her reaction. She's sitting there like, really? I can't believe, even she knew it was fixed. Like, you think about the real country artists who could have won this thing, with Zach Bryan, Morgan Wallen, Eric Church. They could. No, that's not it. Because that's not what the industry wanted to win. They didn't want that. They wanted something that was more inside the record industry. That's what happened. And you saw it happen throughout the years. That most of the biggest chunk of when I did radio and morning radio was in the country music industry, because it's just a great, great format. And what it always did was connect with people. The artists were always really good about doing interviews. They would work with radio, not like rock artists who couldn't care less. And they would work with people, charitable events, and all this stuff. And I'm not saying Beyonce doesn't do that. I'm just saying and I saw this personally from the inside. You saw it slowly deteriorating and just bowing down to the rest of the wider entertainment industry. It's like it's pushed down entertainment. It's not what the people want and what they demand and what they support. It's what you push down onto the people. And it answers that question, which we've always asked. And I can't tell you how many people I talk to every single year, and this is only growing as we get deeper and deeper into Super Bowls. I mean, we're almost into the 60s. We'll be talking about Super Bowl 75, Super Bowl 100 someday. People always ask, well, why isn't there a major country artist doing the Super Bowl halftime show? Let alone, what happened to the rock show? Just give me a rock artist. And usually the answer is, well, they're always too old. Oh, they're out there, though. There's plenty of rock artists and mainstream Americana music. And that's what I'm getting to here. Americana music that record industry you just heard from there. That entertainment industry could promote, but they don't. Because they don't like Americana. They don't like what people really want. They want to decide what it is. They want this global audience, and they want to push it down to you. And it came to a head last night. And that's what you saw with Beyonce winning a country album award. And that's where we are. And then they had the pre-show thing. I did not watch this, but I think you could not avoid Kanye West and his, who's the girlfriend slave he carries around, whatever, and she was naked on the red carpet. That was one thing. Like, beautiful girl, a beautiful woman. I mean, she's gorgeous, but she looks like she's captive. She looks like like she's a sex slave. I'm sorry. It's exactly what it looks like. I don't know. There she was, basically naked on the red carpet. That's one thing. I'm not a prude, whatever, if you want to do that, but that looks creepy as imagine doing that in any other society, any other part of society or industry. Hey, take your clothes off, babe. We're on the red carpet. Right. And then there's another thing, too, where they don't understand what people want. So they there's always a missing person, and they do the in memoriam section, like sadly artists who died throughout the year, and they always leave somebody off. Here's another example of them forgetting about Americana, American music, rock and roll, completely gone from that industry. So there's a guitarist you may not know of, but his name is John Sykes, worked with Whitesnake, was a co-writer or writer for some of the most popular rock songs you'll ever hear in your life. Well, sadly, he passed away a couple of weeks ago. John Sykes wasn't anywhere on the in memoriam list. They want to completely bury anything that you know of as Americana, folk, country, rock and roll. They want that gone. It's not gone. You just don't hear about it a lot because of that entertainment industry. So, will people push back? Probably not. I don't know. Maybe not, because they're always relying on a new, younger audience that thinks that's great. Okay, fine. Let's see what the ratings did. We'll see. I don't know. All right, let's get to this. What is going on? Are we at war with Canada? Our friends from the north? Are we? It's a trade war. It's the maple syrup war. What's going on with that? Well, Trump had promised this and had teased this whole thing. He had kind of mocked Justin Trudeau and called him a governor of the 51st state. And he said trade sanctions will be coming if they don't play along. Well, they didn't play along, and here come the trade sanctions. So that's created a little bit of a reaction. But again, I said this in the intro if you're just going to join us now. Economists, people who do that for a living, experts, wonderful people, smart people, they have the economic angle that you can listen to because that's what they do. Great. Love it. Politicians are all talking about this. What's it mean? What's it all mean? Well, I know people. That's what I talk about. I know societies and I know people. And I know how people react. And I know the Canadians are pissed off right now. And I know Americans are pissed off at Canadians right now. And everybody's mad. Here's what I also know. And here's what's going to happen at the end. Once you get through the pissed off phase and you start to demand change, like, I don't know, we just saw in this little election we just had a couple of months ago in November, it hurts at first, but then you start to look around, your eyes get open, you get this freedom of information, and you demand that things get better, and that's exactly what's going to happen. Now, why are regular Americans mad at Canadians? What's going on there? The people. Why are people mad at people? Well, stuff like this, which is completely understandable, though. The national anthem, our anthem, is getting booed at Canadian events. It happened at a Toronto Raptors game over the weekend. A little example like this. That poor girl. All right. Just to give you some perspective, you may not know this as a sports fan, but I'm a big hockey fan too. The American anthem gets booed nightly at Montreal Canadiens games. That's something a little bit different, so I'm kind of used to hearing that, so no big deal. But I understand that a lot of Americans who aren't used to that saw that clip, heard that clip. Also at hockey games, it happened in Ottawa too. I understand your reaction. I get it too. I understand if you're a little bit mad that they would boo our national anthem. I get that. I understand that. I understand the like basic guttural reaction to that. I get it. I understand that. But they're mad at what's going on there because they're already a country hurting economically because their leadership is a joke. Their economy is a joke, right? So they're mad at us at first for these trade sanctions, which are only going to make things worse for them. So they're mad at first. But here's in the end what's going to happen. They're going to look at this and they're going to say, how can this be better? Why do we put up with this? Why does this even happen, right? And what the end result is going to be is Canadians are going to look at their awful leadership, as they've already started to do, and they're going to stop electing beta male socialist wimps like Justin Trudeau who lead their country and stop going socialist and play along. And in the end, it's going to work out way better for them. But they're going through the pain right now. And now you get their politicians. Listen to this. If this isn't the most Canadian thing I've ever heard in my life, this is a lady who's running for that PM seat that Trudeau there is giving up. Her name is Chrystia Freeland. She's a prime minister candidate in Canada. Listen to what she says. This is the most Canadian thing I've ever heard in my life.
Americans have to understand how hurt and frankly how furious Canadians are. Our sovereignty is being challenged. And so, yeah, regular Canadians across the country are coming up with ways to stand for Canada, to fight for Canada, to defend Canada, but mostly to say to our American neighbors, guys, just cut it out. Just stop it.
Guys, cut it out. Stop it, would you? Quit it. Cut it out, guys. Well, yeah, pretty much. I understand what she's saying there, that they're pissed off, as they actually should be. And you know what? I see this is good. Canada's a great friend. We've been getting screwed over by Canada. Trump will talk about that here in a second, for decades now. But nobody realized because the corruption has been so bad. But we're all realizing right now how bad the corruption has been across the world for all of us. This is what we're all realizing right now. So, yeah, they're pissed off. I get that. But you know what? Good. Like Americans are pissed off because we want to be America first. Well, they should be Canada first. And Spain should be Spain first. And Mexico should be Mexico first. That's how you get better. And that's how people wake up and they start fighting for themselves and improve their own society. So it's a good thing. But how bad has it been so far? Well, Trump explained it and he gets exactly to what I'm saying.
Canada's been very tough on oil, on energy. They don't allow our farm products in, essentially. They don't allow a lot of things in, and we allow everything to come in. It's been a one-way street. We subsidize Canada by the tune of about $200 billion a year. And for what? What do we get out of it? We don't get anything out of it. I love the people of Canada. I disagree with the leadership of Canada. And something's going to happen there.
Oh, but that's it, isn't it? Didn't he say it right there? Something is going to happen there. In a different kind of way than we do it, but something's happened. People are going to demand change. It's going to be great. It's going to be great for them. It's going to be great for us. But the pain we're going through right now is you're realizing everything that's been going on. That's why. That's why Canadians are mad. And that's why Americans are mad at Canadians. But it's all going to work out. And it's going to be great. And the people fighting that, by the way, fighting that change, they're the ones you need to watch out for. The politicians and public figures who are fighting this and putting up a fight, who want to stop this, who want to stop this change, they're the corrupt ones. Case in point, how about, I woke up to a post from Elon Musk this morning, and he said, and I want to get the wording right because it was just fantastic, and this is how the guy's been working. We spent the weekend feeding U.S. aid, more than them in a second, into the wood chipper. Could have gone to some great parties, did that instead. So DOGE, we all know that term now for that department, the Department of Government Efficiency. It took, where are we? It took 2 weeks into a new administration, and they think they can zero in by the end of the year on cutting $1 trillion away from our wasteful budget. And this U.S. aid thing he just mentioned, it took less than 2 weeks for this DOGE spearheaded by Elon and his department, to cut to the core of where of all our money has been going to and where it's been wasted. This U.S. aid. Now, you think of the name, who could be against U.S. aid? They help out poverty-stricken nations and people who really need it. Oh, no. As it turns out, they take billions of our tax dollars and they waste it and they funnel it and they launder it, and it doesn't go to where it's supposed to go, and it's actually an arm of corruption that's far worse than anybody realized until we got to this point, and we got this guy looking into it, and we got these people looking into it. It's completely corrupt. It's been funding terrorism, among other things, and it's not doing anything that the name implies, U.S. aid. And they took it to a wood chipper, and it's just the beginning, and it's a fantastic thing. But again, the main takeaway, what I'll leave you with, you can listen to economists, I get it. Listen to politicians, I get that. From a people person, listen to who's fighting against cutting this U.S. aid thing, where all the corruption's coming from. Again, 2 weeks into administration, they found out where all the waste is. Listen to the people, whatever public official, business leader, or politician is out there saying what they're doing is bad by cutting this waste. They're the corrupt ones. They're all revealing themselves now because they have to reveal themselves. It's like when you got to smoke them out, right? That's what's happening right now. And it's absolutely amazing what's been happening. This waste is all getting cut, and it's painful at first. It feels like it hurts. It's like those Canadians getting mad at us. That's what you got to go through to get to the good stuff. And it's incredible what's being exposed. They think, by the way, for our economy, Elon thinks they can cut $2 trillion eventually by the end of this, of the waste. Just waste. Not cutting departments that are needed, cutting waste and corruption. Because as it turns out, we've all wondered, our whole lives, we've all wondered, what happens to these billions of tax dollars we pay? We all pay, American people, where does it all go? Well, it took, I don't know how old you are, but it took my entire life to find out to this very moment where that all goes. This right here, those agencies, U.S. aid, and these other non-government agencies that take the tax dollars, and it goes to the corrupt politicians. In our country and others, by the way. That's why things have been so bad. But we're so used to it being so bad, we're not used to the waste being cut. I'll just say it one more time, and I'll get out of your way. Watch out for any public figure that is fighting cutting the waste and cutting the corruption. Those are the bad ones. Those are the ones getting smoked out. Just telling you. All right, watch out for those Grammys ratings. We're going to talk about that tomorrow. I want to see how many people watched it. I want to see how out of touch the Grammys and the entertainment industry actually are. Because that thing last night, again, I didn't watch it, but my God, they just clueless. That's why we don't get a country or rock act in the Super Bowl. It was answered last night. That's why. Oh, by the way, for the Super Bowl, getting closer and closer to that, we'll have some Super Bowl stuff, commercial-related stuff, team-related stuff. Both teams have arrived in Nolans, if you're ready for that. Eagles-Chiefs coming up this Sunday. I'm actually excited for this. You know what I want to watch for is how much online gambling from us, normal people, fans, are being put on this game. I can't wait to see that number because it's going to be massive. But with that said, don't worry about it. Things are getting better. I know everybody's mad at everybody else, and Canada is mad at America, and America's mad at Canada. Don't let that bother you, because at the end of it, the people are going to say what's going to happen, not these politicians. But watch out for the ones that are fighting this change, because they're the corrupt ones. With that said, that's my takeaway. Have a wicked awesome start to the work week. Or not work week. Maybe it's vacation week. I don't know. And like always, don't take any crap from anybody. Thanks for hanging out with me. Lives on as a replay here. And don't forget the audio podcast, this exact same thing. Usually by 9 a.m. Eastern time. You can find that wherever you like to get your podcast, whatever platform that is. And thanks for the downloads on that. I appreciate it so much. Have a wicked awesome day. We'll talk to you tomorrow.